Oh,
We're
yeah.
good.
It stopped spinning.
Let's do this then. This is the fourth and final installment of the MMA March Madness 2018 64-man tournament.
Yeah, because after that, it's going to go down to 32.
No, less than that. 64 and a half would be 32. The next bracket is going to be 32, then 16,
then 8,
and then 4, and so on.
Yep.
Although after this, we will say, we were just talking how it's going to go much quicker and much smoother after this.
Yeah, we'll probably do like 2 brackets per episode and stuff like that. We should have this done by the end of
First week. Definitely by the end of the first
week
in,
of April.
in April here.
Yep, definitely.
For sure, but we do have to get to the bracket, the fights here. So, Marvin Hagler, Frank Shamrock is the first fight in this bracket. This one's interesting because right off the bat, man, you have a guy in Marvin Hagler who is widely considered one of the top, I would say, best 5 boxers of all time.
Definitely.
Marvin Hagler. And a guy in Frank Shamrock who, unlike his brother Ken, was very well-rounded and by pretty much everybody's account and opinion, really considered the best and first true well-rounded mixed martial artist of all time. I know you mentioned Bas Rutten, but Frank Shamrock was really the guy people thought was the complete package, the first guy.
Yeah.
So this is intriguing. You have one of the top 5 best pound-for-pound boxers in Marvin Hagler against one of the modern best in Frank Shamrock. How does it go?
Because they're relatively close to the same size.
I would say that's true.
Yeah, they're relatively close. Frank probably walked around 220, 220, I would say, on like a heavy. So roughly around the same size. I'm going to have to go with the MMA fighter in this because, and I feel so bad when it comes to boxers. Man, they have a serious disadvantage when it comes to being able to be taken down.
In a complete fight, yeah.
Yeah, in a complete fight. This was obviously a boxing match. It's a completely different story, but it's really, really hard to not pick against a guy who was so prevalent on the ground. There's a lot of MMA fighters who are not great on the ground, so then I kind of have a better feel for versus a boxer.
Right.
But a guy in Frank who was a Pancrase champ, very good on the ground, very well rounded, was a great wrestler, great grappler. He just an overall package, and he was very quick for his size and very fucking strong. That dude, he was ridiculously strong. I don't see Marvin Hagler being able to stay out of his range and being able to stop him. So I'm going to go with Frank.
Yeah, this one's tough, man, because you know how I like to do the fights, as you guys should know by now. I kind of like to play them out in my mind here. Every fight starts standing. This would too. Marvin Hagler would be able to probably land some shots on Shamrock, but man, Shamrock is just so goddamn well-rounded everywhere. It's just so hard for me to go against Frank Shamrock in this case. So I don't know how this would play out, but my gut is telling me Shamrock would win, so I'm going to go Shamrock. But why don't we let everybody know who we are, just in case you're tuning in for the very first time. If you are, please like and subscribe, follow us. But you guys should know that we are the guys from the Did You See That Shit Mixed Martial Arts podcast. This is our YouTube channel, Missing Time Productions. But yeah, I'm Mike Straus, AKAstraus21. I also write for Cageside Press and CombatPress.com. And yeah, this is what we're doing, and it's pretty awesome. This is the #1 underground comedian in Chicago.
The reason I'm underground is because no one knows who the hell I am. But
he's not above ground.
Yeah, so I'm a Taje Mahal. I don't have as many credentials as Mike Straus, but I'm going to make some up.
Credentials are words.
Credentials are words. So I'm going to make some up. The one and only man to ever finish the 1,000-wing challenge at Buffalo Wild Wings, which isn't even really a challenge. I just spent $500 for no reason there.
That's a lot of money.
Dude, I got no picture. I got nothing. 1,000 wings and my butthole hurt for a week. Anyway,
maybe your butthole hurt for a different reason.
Maybe. Now,
if you guys want to give us a call, 708-669-4777. Let us know what's going on. Hit us up with an email, mike@didyousee-that-shit.com, or yeah, all those things. Guys.
Also, guys, seriously, I'm about to go with this dude in this argument because I feel like he's going to go with somebody.
I don't know about that.
It's Mike Tyson versus Damian Maia. I am going to say this right now. I'm picking Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
Iron Mike. Damian Maia is amazing at getting people to the ground. He is just too small. Mike Tyson walks around 240, 250. That dude hit like a tank, and if Damian Maia got close to him and he could hit him with an uppercut coming in, or he can hit him at all, Damian Maia is going to bed.
Mike Tyson was like 215, 220. But having said that, these guys are going to be standing. Damian Maia is probably one of the 2 or 3 best jiu-jitsu players in the game right now, maybe ever. And, we've been trending towards the jiu-jitsu guys in these fights, I would say thus far. Mike Tyson, I wouldn't say he's one of the... I guess I would say he's one of the best boxers of all time.
I would definitely say one of the hardest hitters.
Oh, yeah, definitely one of the hardest hitters.
Best knockout artists.
One of the best, yeah, if not the. And then this one's interesting because does Mike Tyson have enough power or enough speed, enough agility to hit Damian Maia with one of those shots to end the fight before Maia could get him to the ground? I think he would. I think he would. He was just too goddamn scary and too tough and too big.
That man scares me today, and he is nowhere near what he was back then.
So we're going Mike Tyson.
I'm going
over Damian Maia.
Hell yeah!
Here is 2 boxers going at each other: Sugar Ray Robinson and Deontay Wilder.
God, I'm a fan. This is horrible. I'm gonna get
both.
I'm gonna get some serious crap for this. Deontay Wilder. Deontay is too big. That is the biggest issue. I think Sugar Ray Robinson is obviously the way better boxer, just skill wise. Deontay Wilder is so raw. You got to think this guy got into boxing at 23, 22, 23. He was very late in heavyweight, but he is just so tall, lanky. He kind of has that John Jones effect.
Yeah, he does.
And honestly, I feel Deontay Wilder, if he would have started training in MMA first, I think he would be probably one of the top heavyweights in MMA. He's huge, he's big, he's an athlete. He's a guy who can play every sport. And because of his size and his speed, I just don't see Sugar Ray Robinson being able to overcome that.
Yeah, so far we agree, man. I'm going to have to agree with you on this one too. He's just too big. They both have a very similar skill set. However, Robinson is more technical. I believe Wilder probably packs more of a punch.
And
one punch.
Plus, Deontay Wilder wants to catch a body.
So he says.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if all things are fairly equal and they bring a similar skill set, then I got to go with the bigger, stronger guy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Wilder there. How about this next one is really, really interesting. Randy Couture, Ben Askren. Very stylistically intriguing.
Yes. You have 2 Olympian wrestlers. Olympic wrestlers, one freestyle, one Greco. You have 2 guys who have dominated in their prime, when they're in their prime, dominated pretty much everybody they went up against. I'm going to have to go with a Ben Askren.
Wow.
For this one reason. I feel Randy Couture was a lot better of a dirty boxer, but in Randy Couture's prime, he was not a good boxer at that time. In his prime. I'm talking about prime Randy. Ben Askren has a skill set that is so scary on the ground. I think it even surpasses what Randy Couture can do on the ground. And I feel that Randy Couture would want to get in close. He would want a close distance. And by doing that, he's allowing that kind of funk-style wrestling to take over, those scrambles and things like that I don't think he's going to be able to stop. And I think Ben Askren basically just pounds him on the ground.
This is interesting because maybe it would go that way. Maybe, I don't know. I have a hard time. The thing I have a hard time with in this is in your description of the fight is how would Ben Askren be able to manhandle a guy the size of Randy Couture? Probably about 230 pounds.
Yeah.
You figure Askren's probably about he said himself he's about 180, 190. That's a lot of weight. How are you going to manhandle that?
I don't see a man. So his style of wrestling never was about manhandling. He's never been the strongest guy or the fastest guy.
His technique is so good.
His technique and his funk style. The funk style is
which is very effective.
It's
but
based
against
off
Randy
scramble.
Couture. That's just what I'm having a hard time understanding.
Because I don't see Randy Couture being able to out scramble him because it's going to become a ground war, in my opinion. And I think he's going to put the pressure on Randy. And Randy,
this is the way I see it going. I see it going. if Ben was to somehow get Randy down from a scramble, like you say, I think Randy would get up to his feet every time, effortlessly. And I think the 30 pounds of muscle plus the technical ability of an Olympic wrestler himself would be enough for him to negate enough damage and get up to his feet. And I think Randy would be able to do damage in the clinch. I just know the thing I have a problem with is I don't see Askren overcoming. Listen, if Askren is paired up against almost any other person that doesn't have an Olympic base in wrestling, then yeah, you're right, man. I'm an Askren guy, but Randy Couture is the blue book on how to beat someone like Askren. You have another Olympic quality, and I know it's not in freestyle, but it's in Greco.
Yeah,
you can argue that's harder.
I'm going to argue it's a different style technique.
For sure, it is.
From watching Ben Askren wrestle, being the biggest fan of Ben Askren back in his wrestling days, because that funk style, I've gone against guys who
I'm a huge fan.
So here's what I'm going to tell you. Because I've gone against guys who have that funk style of wrestling, it is different. It is a different way of grappling. It's so weird. I've gone against guys who have that style, who I have that weight advantage against. I felt the kind of weird pressure and the hip control that they have to even hold down my weight. I'm telling you right now that from feeling guys with that style and feeling that weird strength that they have against a Randy Couture who has never faced a guy who has that style or hip control.
I gotta believe a guy like Randy Couture has faced. If you have faced a guy with the funk style, I gotta believe Randy.
Well,
Couture
the guy
has.
I faced with the funk style was one of the top dudes in the nation back in high school. So
I gotta believe Randy Couture has faced a guy that has a funk style.
He probably has, but it's.
I just don't see it.
It's such
we'll have
a
to
weird
come back
thing.
to that one because there's no way I'm budging from that.
I can't either because Ben Askren is just I can't believe.
So let's go Roy Jones Jr., Antonio Minataro Nogueira. I'll start.
Yeah, go on this one.
Ooh, Antonio Minataro Nogueira, decent boxing, good jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
Roy Jones, really, really good boxing. Don't know how his jiu-jitsu is. One of the best, especially in the 90s, maybe one of the best ever. A lot of people do consider Roy Jones one of the best ever.
He was
definitely one of the best, if not the, in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Man.
He was very undersized most of his career. It was crazy.
Very entertaining fighter too. Oh man, this one's tough for me, but I do think Roy Jones would be able to piece him up. I think Roy Jones would piece him up enough to keep Minataro at bay, and Minataro would try everything to just land a takedown, but I think Roy Jones would land enough shots to be able to keep him off or at least on his feet. So I'm going to go Roy Jones.
I'm going to go Roy Jones too. And it's for all the same reasons. His style of boxing actually fits very well in MMA.
It does actually. Very well.
It's very, his hands are low. He's very a point karate type guy. I think he would translate very well. And I think because of how his base was and how fast he was, he'd be able to stop the slower Antonio Minataro.
Speaking of point karate, you got Conor McGregor, Lyoto Machida next.
Man, this one is so hard, but it's really
very similar stylistically.
Very similar how they operate, leap in and out.
Lyoto one packs more of a punch, probably.
Yeah, and I feel like Lyoto probably has a way better ground game. I'm gonna go with Lyoto for the ground and because he's just bigger. He's a natural 205 pounds maybe. Walks around probably 203 when he's training real hard and then cuts down to 185. Conor McGregor is, like you said, like he even said, you got to have some attributes, man.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, and I think in his prime, Lyoto Machida, he has those attributes that could nullify. Now, if they were the same size, this would be a little bit harder of an argument. Yeah, but
size is a motherfucker. Bro.
Yeah, it is. It's a fucking weird thing, man.
Only the true best of the best can really overcome it, and that's what we're doing here. So
yeah,
that's what we're doing. So you're going Lyoto.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm not a big Conor guy, and but he is talented, and he does pack a hell of a punch. And as he's said many times, his fucking mind is bulletproof.
Yeah,
and that goes a long way. Lyoto, you got to think his prime was probably right after he fucked Richard up and took the belt. Richard Evans.
God, yeah, he fucked him up
And
bad.
Joe Rogan famously said, "Wow, we're entering the Machida era," and he said something to the effect that basically we're going to be in this for a long time. I think the very next fight he went to lose the belt.
No,
against
he
Shogun.
won. No, he won it from Shogun, but controversially, then lost it from Shogun the next time.
He won it from Richard.
Yeah, he won it.
First fight, he lost it to Shogun.
No, Shogun lost, and then they had the rematch, the immediate rematch, and they got knocked out.
But I know that either way, it didn't last for a long time, his reign. But I do think he beats Conor. I think you're right. I think he beats Conor. I think size is a motherfucker. I think they are very similar. And I think if it did go to the ground, which it probably would, I think this fight probably would, because Conor does have that nasty one-punch power. But even if he did land that, I don't know if that's going to cleanly knock him out. He'd probably follow him to the ground. Yeah. And then it'd be in Lyoto's wheelhouse. So I'll go Machida. I just think he has more ways to win, and they're very equal in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
How about Khabib Nurmagomedov against Fabricio Werdum?
Khabib did wrestle a bear.
When he was 9.
Yes.
This is true.
Daniel Cormier has said that he is probably one of the best pound for pound and one of the craziest people he's ever rolled with.
Mm-hmm. Fabricio has a motherfucker of a size advantage.
Correct.
Seems to be the theme of
I'm just gonna have to go with fucking Fabricio Werdum because of the size. Because Khabib is only gonna do one thing. He's gonna want to take him down. Mm-hmm. We already know that as a big motherfucker, Werdum is amazing off his back. Like he is top level. And when I see him off his back, I feel like I'm watching a lightweight. It is just so slick. It's beautiful of how he operates. So off his back, he's already a motherfucker. He would probably allow Khabib to take him down, even though if he didn't want Khabib to take him down, he could easily stuff it because he is so goddamn big. I'm going for Werdum, just size advantage. I think he just submits him on the ground, or he just beats him up on the feet because he decides he wants to be there.
Yeah, I'm a Khabib guy. And it's just for Werdum is just the size difference here.
It's
and
not fair.
If you're going to say prime Khabib, you'd probably argue, well, we don't know what he looks like. We'll find out in a couple of days how he looks in this Max fight, right? But Khabib does look good. In his last fight against Barbosa, you could say that maybe even is his prime, right?
Oh, that's so scary.
And then what's prime for Werdum? I don't know, but definitely
after Kane.
I was going to say definitely a Werdum with hands. Right,
so Kane, I would say he's in his prime now, which is scary.
And he's got amazing hands now, and he's a complete fighter, and he's so much bigger than Khabib. You got to go Werdum.
He walks around at 230, 240. God damn, he's huge.
One more fight here in this bracket, and then we'll round back up to the one we couldn't agree on. Fedor Emelianenko against the Welsh fighter Joe Calzaghe, the Welsh boxer. You know, Calzaghe's awesome, definitely deserving to be on this list, but Fedor is just.
I'm going. With, I went back and watched some of.
Calzaghe.
Yeah. And you know what, by the way? You're right. He was a phenomenal boxer.
I think that, he was Lomachenko before Lomachenko was Lomachenko.
Just that.
If you watch his footwork.
That beautiful footwork. Oh, my God. By the way, go watch both of their highlights. It is, if you are not, if you want to sit there and talk crap about boxing, just watch them. That is the creme de la creme. Now, I'm going with Fedor. He's just the scariest man in his prime. I don't see really... He went on a 12-year winning streak against...
Yeah.
That's why we can't have nice things. No, it's just the creme de la creme, man. I got to say, Fedor was one of the best of all time, and he beat some of the best of all time. I'm going to have to go with Fedor.
Yeah, definitely. So let's round back up to the Ben Askren, Randy Couture.
Okay, I am telling you, his style, it's about... when they get on the ground. That is the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I see Randy just underhooking and getting back up.
I don't see it.
Listen, if it was literally probably any other guy on this list, I don't see it either.
I cannot budge because I can't see Randy Couture being Ben Askren. We might just
have to flip a coin on this one because...
This is the first one. Wow.
Yeah, because this is what I'm having a hard time...
It's the size for you.
Askren's got him on the ground.
Yes,
and Askren's doing his thing, kind of where he has
his hips.
Yeah, right. He's got hip control, and he's kind of doing his Askren thing, his funky control, and he's pounding him, but not really hitting him with blows to end the fight, just kind of annoying him. But Randy's big, he's strong, he's been there. He's got the technique. He's got the strength. He's got the size. I think he's gonna get back to his feet, and then where are you at? Oh, you're in his wheelhouse. You're in his clinch. He's going to dirty box the motherfucker out of you. And he does have the strength. He does have the power to finish a fight.
Who was
sorry.
Ben Askren's hardest fight?
Douglas Lima or Douglas Lima.
Douglas Lima.
Maybe. Or Jay Heron. That's from him. In his own words, he said his hardest fight was Jay Heron.
Really?
That's not what I think, but that's what he said.
It didn't look like his hardest fight.
Well, go back and watch Jay Heron. Jay Heron's a very underrated fighter. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he said. So, Jay Heron. Oh, okay. Against who was Randy's hardest fight?
I'd say Chuck.
You could say Chuck. You could say Brock. He's been in there with big, strong guys. So, my point exactly. That one didn't work for you. You didn't think that one through, did you? When you asked me who his hardest fight was.
I'm thinking in their prime. Because honestly, him against Brock was not his prime.
That's to no fault of Ben Askren, though, who he's fought. He's only been able to fight who has been in front of him. But his competition's been lesser, and that's you have to take that into consideration, too. I'm a Ben guy.
I feel that Ben Askren, honestly, I'm having a hard time feeling that.
He's just too small for Randy, bro. Listen, if this was against Bas Rutten, and I'm a Basque, I mean anybody, literally, if this was against anybody. But the thing that's hard for me to overcome is Randy also has that, he just has the size, but he also has the Olympic technique. It's not like he's just a big guy that's tough. It's not like he's, what was that one guy? Tank Abbott. It's not like he's Tank Abbott.
Fuck it, you win. God damn.
Got to. So there, we got them. We got that bracket taken care of. We'll hit round 2 very soon. But before we do, we'd be smitten if we didn't talk about what's his name?
Khabib?
Not Khabib, his opponent. His supposed to be opponent.
Max Holloway. What do you mean?
Ferguson.
Ferguson?
We got to talk about the news. Yeah, we got to talk about the news.
Yeah,
fight.
yeah. All right, so
we're not going to give our pick or anything on this because we're going to do that on the next episode of Did You See That Shit podcast. But so for anybody who doesn't know, why don't you? Tony Ferguson, the UFC interim lightweight champion, blows his AC or something out. Right?
LCL.
Lateral collateral ligament in his knee, seeing an old friend at the Fox studio. Sounds a little suspicious. Anyway,
they're going to strip him.
They're going to strip him of the belt.
Yeah.
And now Max Holloway, the 145-pound champ, steps in and now fighting Khabib on 6 days' notice for the real lightweight title.
I feel that this is perfect.
You know what's crazy? Do you remember at the press conference they had when they announced this fight?
Yeah.
And one of the press guys had said to Dana, "What's your backup plan in case this fight falls through?" Since it has 3 other times. And before anybody could answer, Max grabbed the mic and said, "I'm the 145-pound champ. I'd gladly step in." And it was a joke, and he was doing it as a thing.
And then now he predicted this. You know what? Because then it's going to be champ versus champ.
Exactly, man. This is crazy. It could be setting up to be even bigger than
champ versus champ.
So without giving your pick or anything, do you like the Max Khabib fight better than the Tony Khabib fight?
I like the implications for the future more than I did
this fight.
Yeah, it just makes me feel like, all right, cool, because if Max loses, he just goes back down to 145, no harm, no foul. If Khabib loses, then champ versus champ. If Khabib wins, I get Conor versus Khabib, and that's kind of what I want. So either way, I'm getting a fight that I want, because honestly, I didn't want to see Tony versus Conor. Really? I know a lot of people did. I didn't. I thought Tony's style did not match up well against Conor, and I feel Khabib's style matches up better against Conor.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't really want to listen to a whole bunch of press conferences of the most cringe-worthy trash talk I've ever seen in my life of Tony Ferguson. That was a selfish reason why I kind of don't want Tony to win. I was like, oh, it's gonna be so cringe-worthy with Conor being actually decent, and then Tony just being I'm like, I don't know.
You're gonna watch this weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch this.
It's a really stacked. We're gonna give all of our picks, fight breakdowns. Paul Felder, Ally Aquinta, Joanna, going back for her title. Do you know that they have the early odds makers have Max as a 350? Some have him as like a 400 and 425 point dog right now. Huge money.
Who wants to make some money, guys?
Man, I don't know. It's
champ.
It's shocking to me that Max Holloway is such a big underdog. And I know that this is only on 6 days' notice.
Well, everybody thinks that he's, and we'll talk more about this, but everybody thinks that he's so much smaller. He's taller than Khabib.
Should we do a pre UFC 223 live stream?
Hell yeah,
we should. We should. We'll do it.
We'll do it.
We'll do it. Until next time, I guess then.
Hey guys, remember go fuck
yourself.
Go fuck yourself. No, remember guys, like and subscribe to this video, Missing Time Productions.
Yes,
you can also find us on iTunes at didyouseethatshit.com. You can subscribe to our iTunes and Google Play as well. Go hit us up on Google Play. If you're on Android, it is an awesome. I like Google Play Music. It's what I use.
Convenient.
Yep, and all my favorite podcasts are there, including the fastest growing podcast out there. It is us. DidYouSeeThatShit.com. You can find all our stuff there as well.
And LeaksPro.com, guys.
Oh, and this was brought to you by our friends at Leaks Pro Audio.
Go there. Love them. LeaksPro.com. They have headphones, all kinds of awesome stuff.
The awesome cords that we're using right now.
And if you use the promo code Straus21, you can save 15% on these very headphones right here.
They're some of the best, man.
Do so. Do so. Straus21.
All right. Like and subscribe.